Namaste my dear friends. Yes, today we are going to start with our paper 1 first unit or first chapter we can call it as. So that first chapter is none other than unit 1 teaching aptitude for paper 1 UGC NET or SET examination and for also JRF paper. Okay, in the middle I am going to use Kannada also for the Kannada people to understand very easily, and along with that I am going to speak only in English. By that we can reach for more number of the students across the country. Okay, yes, for unit 1 teaching aptitude. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಕಲಿಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಕಲಿಸುವ ವಿಧಾನ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಕಲಿಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ನ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡೋಣಂತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಮಾತಿಲ್ಲಿ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಪಾಠಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ ಬನ್ನಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ. ಸೊ ಯೂನಿಟ್ 1 ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್. ಸೊ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಮೇನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಶಬ್ದ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಟು ಟೀಚ್ ವಿಚ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ದೆನ್? So teaching means there are two meanings that which we can take from this book. That is, one individual gain knowledge. So one individual is going to gain the knowledge from a more knowledgeable person. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಅಥವಾ ಒಬ್ಬ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಉಳ್ಳಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಒಂದು ಮೀನಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಫುಲ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇವುಗಳನ್ನು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡುವುದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದೇ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್? ಸೊ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಸೊ ಟೀಚರ್ ಟ್ರೈಸ್ ಟು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ದ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ದ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ. ಸೊ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಗಳಿದೆಯೋ ಅವುಗಳ ಪ್ರಕಾರವಾಗಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡುವುದಕ್ಕೆ, ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರನ್ನು ಅವರ ನಡವಳಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅನಂತರ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಏಡ್ಸ್, ಮೆಥಡಾಲಜೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್. So then definitions, there are two definitions which we can remember. So that is first one by Albert Einstein, teaching is a supreme art to awaken the joy in creative expression and knowledge. So creative expression ಮತ್ತು ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ನ ಜಾಯನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಕ್ಕೆ, ಅವೇಕನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಜಾಗೃತಗೊಳಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಆಲ್ಬರ್ಟ್ ಐನ್ಸ್ಟೀನ್ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅನಂತರ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ APJ ಅಬ್ದುಲ್ ಕಲಾಂ, who was a great teacher, we should remember him always in our hearts. So he says that, he gives the definition that is, teaching is a noble profession that shapes the character, caliber and future of an individual. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ನೋಡೋಣಂತೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ SDI, CDC. Like this we can remember there are only 6. Okay, so first one you can see shaping the behavior. So we have to shape the behavior of the students. Second one is developing children into efficient member of the society. So third one, that is I, you can see there, SDI. So I, improving critical thinking and writing creatively. So then C means what? Changing the attitude of the students. Then D means what? Developing the understanding level of the students. C once again, that is conceptual, intellectual and subject specific skills should be improved in the students. So then there are 3 levels of teaching. So you can see levels of teaching. There are 3 levels of teaching which we can understand one by one. So first one is memory level of teaching. So this memory level, this was proposed by Herbert's teaching model. Okay, then understanding level of teaching, this was proposed by Morrison teaching model. Then reflection level of teaching, that is Hunt's teaching model. Okay, so then we are going to study this one by one now. The first one, memory level of teaching. You can see memory level of teaching. So what is the primary focus of this memory level of teaching? So the primary focus is memorization. Okay, so then stimulus response will be involved in this particular level of learning. So I hope you people can understand, in India we are following the same level of learning at the very young age. ಹೌದಾ? ಚಿಕ್ಕವರಿದ್ದಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಮೆಮರಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನಾವು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಬೈ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನೆನಪು ಬರಬಹುದು ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ Wordsworth says that gives a definition of this memory level of teaching. How this happens. Memory is the direct use of what is learned. So whatever we learn, it is directly used. It is known as memory. So then there are three major aspects in this particular memory level of teaching. That is, first one, learning, retention, so we have to keep in the mind. Then reproduction, we have to reproduce it in the examination. Then this is helpful only for the starters, ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಕ ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ, ಚಿಕ್ಕವರಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ this will help. Then in this particular level of learning or teaching, so teacher role is active, but the student's role will be always passive in nature. Okay, and at the last, teaching equipments which we can use in this particular model are, so audio visual aids we can use, models we can use, and charts we can use, and then etc. So then this memory level of teaching, what are the objectives of this? So you can see here objectives of memory level of teaching. So this we can remember in only 6 points, that is BTS SKK. Okay, so what is B? So B means what? Bloom's taxonomy. So there is a taxonomy which is Bloom's taxonomy, which we can study in the next concept. In detail we can study that. So then, so T means what? Teaching is subject centered. Teaching is always subject centered. Then yes, that is simple and memorable content should be used. Then one more S is there, that is subject material is organized. Whatever you are going to study in this particular subject model is already organized. Subject material is organized. Then K means what? Knowledge is through memorization. Whatever the knowledge that we gain, it is through only memorization. And one more K is there, that is knowledge is definite, structured and observable. These are the 6 objectives of memory level of teaching. So then what are the steps or the structure, how it is utilized? You can see here there are 6 steps once again. So first one is preparation. So in this preparation, you can simply know that you can simply understand like this, that testing the previous knowledge, that is what preparation here. Statement of aim, to know the aim of the particular concept or particular chapter, or to know the name of that particular statement. So that is statement of aim. Third one is presentation, self-learning opportunity will be given. Then association, means what? A relationship of the facts can be brought into the notice of the students. Then generalization means what? Principles and laws are formulated. And then application, whatever the things that we are learning, that we are going to apply, that is what? To apply in the new situation. Then what are the teaching methods in this particular memory level of teaching? That is drill means what? Practicing and repetition. Okay, so drilling will be there, drill, review. Once again we have to review that, then we have to revise it, revision, and then asking the questions to the teachers if we have any doubts. I hope you people have followed these steps in your young age, right? Then how the evaluation is made in this particular memory level of teaching. I hope we have already followed all these steps. That is, first one is essay and objective types of questions will be asked. You can see here, essay and objective types questions will be asked, which we have to answer. Then oral tests will be kept in the schooling system, which is based on memory level of teaching only. Okay, then to check the students' ability to comprehend, grasp, analyze, synthesize and discriminate. So these are the 5 important ability should be checked by this memory level of teaching by doing all this evaluation process. Then my dear friends, how this evaluation process will happen in the examination question paper, I hope we have already followed this. That is, the questions will be in this format. That is, first one will be in the fill in the blanks. Along with that, match the followings will be there. Short answers will be asked in the examination, and MCQs will be asked in the examination to check or to evaluate the students' memory in this particular format. Then what are the suggestions that here we can give for this particular memory level of teaching to develop? Are first one is the content of the particular subject should be simple. First it should be simple and then it should become complex. Then it should be objective and useful. Then second one, adequate teaching aids should be used to teach while teaching. Then third one, integrated and sequence content. Integrated and sequence of the content should be maintained. Then continuous reinforcement should be there while formulation and while instructing, while giving the instruction, we have to follow the continuous reinforcement, and then systematic presentation should be made. So these all are the things which we are studying under memory level of teaching. Let us go for the next concept, that is understanding level, which is given by Morrison teaching model. So yes, my dear friends, so in the second one, understanding level of teaching. So what we can learn here in understanding level of teaching are first thing, who is the proponent of this? The proponent is Morrison. So what is the focus of this? The focus of this is mastery of the subject and high quality of learning. Okay, these are the two focus of this particular model. Then what else we can get by this? That is, it develops the intellectual behavior of the students. Then learners think, present, analyze, draw the inferences. So these are the steps involved for the learners, that is, they think, they present, they analyze, and then they draw the inferences of a particular concept. Then the understanding level is extrinsic and intrinsic both. Then it involves what? It involves, you can see, exploration, presentation, assimilation, organization, and recitation, all these things. Then this is used in, especially in upper primary, middle and higher classes. Okay, so then now let us come to the concept, that is understanding level of teaching has these two objectives. That is, the first objective is understanding objective. So in this, what we can learn is by means of interpreting, exemplifying, classifying, comparing and inferring, etc. By this, understanding level of objectives are achieved. Then second one, application, that is executing and implementing in practical life. Whatever the things that has been learned, it should be implemented. Then what are the structures or steps involved in this? So you can see PEA, PR. This is the formula by which you can remember this, all the steps. That is, first one is P means presentation, E means exploration, A means assimilation, then O means organization, and then R means recitation. So next, if we go for the teaching method, how the teaching method will be considered in this? In this, subject and teacher centered. This model is completely subject centered and as well as teacher centered. So the learners interpret in their own way. Whatever the learners are learning, they will interpret all the things in their own way. Then what are the different methods of teaching? First method is lecture method will be there. Then discussion method will be there. Then inductive, deductive method will be there. And then the last one, exemplification method will be there. At the last, teacher and learner both are active in the classroom in this particular model. And the next step that we have to check that the evaluation, how the students or the learners is evaluated. We are going to check there how the students or the learners can comprehend, grasp, synthesize, discriminate and generalize the facts and figures. And through how we can evaluate them? Through oral testing. Orally we can ask the questions. Written and comprehensive essay type questions will be asked in the examination. And what are the suggestions for this? Suggestions are classroom interaction will be there. Classroom interaction must be there. This is the suggestion for this particular model. Then organized subject should be completely organized. Teaching aids should be given and teachers should give motivation for the students. So this is what understanding level of teaching that we have understood. Now let us go for the third level of teaching, that is reflective level of teaching. So it is also known as introspective level of teaching. So proponent, who is the proponent of this particular topic or particular model? That is Hunt. His name is Hunt. So in this, whatever the important things that we should remember is the practical level. This is a practical level of teaching. Completely it is a practical level of teaching. Scientific methods are used in this particular model. Highly thoughtful and useful. This is students develop curiosity, interest, inquiry, persistence and helps getting solutions for their own problems. These all things will help the students to get the solutions for their own problems by themselves. And at the last, this is also known as problem solving approach. Okay. So if we start with the objectives, what are the objectives of this particular reflective level of teaching. So we can remember that as LDID. So L means what? Learners will only solve the problems. D means what? Develops the rational and critical thinking in this model. I means what? Independent thinking will be developed, and at the last, decision making capacity will be developed. So then, structure and steps. How the structures and steps are involved in this? CFV CT. C means what? Creating the problematic situation first. Then F means what? Formulation of the hypothesis for that particular problem. Then V means what? Verifying the hypothesis. Whatever the hypothesis is formulated, we have to verify that. And then C means what? Collection of the data. And at the last, T means what? Testing of the hypothesis. Then what is the teaching method? How the teaching method will be there? Student centered. It is completely student centered method of teaching. Interaction of the teacher and student will be there. Highly thoughtful. Learners bring own ideas for specific problems. Then evaluation. How we can test? We can test these following, that is reasoning, creativity, original thinking, problem solving and critical thinking of a particular student or a learner. And at the last, what are the suggestions for this particular model is P, P, PP, we will tell no. So that P, PIEP. So first one, that is proper atmosphere should be there. Second one, proper direction and evaluation should be there. Independent learning should be there. And at the last, expressing the thoughts. So, ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗೋದಾದ್ರೆ, in teaching aptitude, there will be objectives of teaching. So, objectives of teaching ಅಂತ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ, you should remember two things, that is Bloom's taxonomy ಒಂದು, ಎರಡನೇದು Gagne and Briggs, that is Gagne's taxonomy ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. So, first one let us see my dear friends. So, that is Bloom's taxonomy, which was introduced by Benjamin Bloom in 1956. Okay. So, learning takes place through 3 steps in this particular taxonomy. That is first one cognitive domain, second one affective domain, and third one psychomotor domain. So in cognitive domain, so there will be these things. That will be first one knowledge, second one comprehension, third one application, then fourth one analysis, then synthesis, and then evaluation. These are the steps involved in cognitive domain. Okay. Then if we move for the next one, affective domain. So in this, receiving will be there, responding will be there, valuing will be there, organizing and characterizing. These are the steps involved in affective domain. And the next one, psychomotor domain. In this, observing, imitating, practicing, adapting and naturalization. That means according to Bloom's taxonomy, learning will take place in these 3 aspects, three objectives. Okay. And on the other hand, Gagne and Briggs, that is Gagne's taxonomy. In this, there will be these things. First one, verbal information, intellectual skills, cognitive skills, motor skills and attitudes. Okay. Then, after completing these objectives of teaching, let us move on to the next part, that is nature and characteristics of teaching, which is very important that we should understand as a lecturer or as a teacher. So whenever nature and characteristics of teaching will come, you have to remember this formula, that is a formula created by me. So that is PSI DTDC SCST. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಬ್ಬರು PSI ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು DTDC ಇಂದ ಒಂದು ಏನೋ ಕೊರಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದು SCST ಅವರ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ನಾವು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಏನೇನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಸೂತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತದ್ದೇ ಇದರೊಳಗೆ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಸೊ P means what? Professional activity. Second one, S means system of actions, I means interactive process, D means dynamic, social and humane, then T means teaching is a science. Okay. Then D means diverse application, then C means continuous process, then S means specialized task, then once again C means collection of various modes, then S means subjected to analysis and assessment, T means teaching is an art. So these are the very important nature and characteristics of teaching. Okay. So if we go for the further thing, then we must have to study basic requirements of teaching. So what are the basic requirements of teaching? In that we can study this in two aspects, that is first one variables of teaching and second one role of infrastructure. So first one, if we go on deeply studying, that is variables of teaching. There are three variables which are involved in teaching. First one is dependent variable. So dependent variable here is a student. He is always a dependent variable because student is dependent completely on teacher and the teaching process. Okay. Second one, independent variable. Who is independent variable here? Teacher is only the independent variable. So teacher plans, organizes, leads and controls all the particular concept or the class of the students. And then at the last, intervening variables, that is curriculum. So curriculum, in this we can add content, methods, institutional methods, etc. All these things affects, these are the variables of teaching. So the next one, role of infrastructure. How the role of infrastructure is maintained here. So whenever teaching is there, teacher is involved and school is involved, then these types of setup is very much essential. So school buildings, classrooms, etc. these are the very essential needs for a school or for a student to learn. Then well equipped labs must be there in the school. Then libraries, halls, proper sanitation, etc. All these things should be there in the infrastructure. So these are what the basic requirements of teaching. Then if you move on for the next one, that is principles of teaching. It's very important once again here, if I would like to say, my dear friends. So principles of teaching, there are two types of principles of teaching. So general principles and psychological principles. So if general principle, if you would like to remember, you can see here a small sutra that I have written by myself, that is male, DRSP, DRCD. So these are the first letters of this particular points. So what is male? M means what? Motivation. That means for every point you should add principles. Principles anta add marta hogi hindegade. So that is motivation means what? Principles of motivation. A means what? Activity, that is principles of activity. So I means interest, that is principles of interest. So like the same way you should go on adding principles. Then L means what? Linking with life. D means definite aim should be there. So R means recognizing an individual is very important. S means selection is very important. Then P planning, D division, R revision, C creation and recreation, D democratic dealing. Okay, these are the very important general principles of teaching. Then if you move on to the psychological principle, once again that I have created a small sutra. You can see here Mr. Sir Yer. Mr. Yamar, SIR Sir, ERR Year. Anta or hesaru yado Mr. Sir anta. So M means what? Motivation, that is principles of motivation. Principles and add madi hindegade a word na hindegade. So R means recreation, S means sympathy and cooperation, I means imparting training to all the senses, R means remedial teaching, E means expressing creativity, R means reinforcement, one more R is repetition and exercise. So I hope you are understanding very much easily all these concepts. Let us move on for the next class, next topic.